And good morning and welcome to Sports Talk. Glad to have you with us here on a Saturday morning. Sorry for the delay this morning. A couple issues this morning as we all walked in due to the depth of the snow this morning. It took a little while to get here.
Snow again has just arrived.
How dedicated are we, though, that we are having a show with all the ice and snow that we have outside our studio?
True dedication.
Technical issues this morning. Seem to have most of those worked out. For those of you that might normally watch on Facebook, we hope you get tuned in on YouTube and the TuneIn app. And Lanny's, that's great. Lanny's going to put a link on Facebook. Of course, if I'm telling you that and you're hearing it, it doesn't matter, right? So, we got plenty to talk about today. Obviously, the big story in the news is the weather that will be coming. Brett told me something very interesting about weather yesterday. He said, tonight around 8 o'clock, the temperature in Buffalo, New York is set to be
minus 110.
Might as
well
well
wind
be.
chill.
Yeah. What'd you tell me? Two.
Two.
No snow in the forecast until tomorrow or the next day, I guess.
What's the wind chill factor?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Less than 2.
Yes, less than two. Yeah. You get you one of those shirts with the less than sign on there. Not on Facebook this morning, Rodney tells me, and I knew it wouldn't affect him. I've never done any book of faces, but I got you now. So,
all right.
Yeah.
It's about his happiness.
The whole show's about his happiness.
There you go. You hear that, don't you, Rodney? And he skipped out on us a few weeks.
Hey.
He did.
I like that. Our
Well,
core listeners.
It was for a good cause, though. It was for a good cause. He stayed in touch just about every week, so we knew that he was working hard, nonetheless. I got NFL to talk about. Obviously, we are at least sports fans, and I think everybody actually hopes that the power does not go out over the weekend. But this is a huge weekend. I mean, think about it. This will be the biggest, as far as I can remember, the biggest weekend of NFL playoff football ever.
Well, the first Monday night
playoff game. 2 on Saturday, which is normal.
Yeah.
You usually have 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. But now it's 2, 3, and 1.
Yeah.
Extra playoff games, which you will never go against. But
and I heard the best line I've heard all week yesterday. I texted it to you, talking about the Bengals.
That was good.
On pardon the interruption, Mike Wilbon said, I had an afro the last time the Bengals won a playoff game.
Yeah.
And if you know Wilbon, of course, he has a slick head.
Ever since I've known him.
Yeah. I've known.
Ever since I remember
but
seeing
apparently
him.
Sometime in his youth or past, he had an afro.
I've never seen him with one hair on his head.
I knew. Yeah. The entire time he's been on pardon the interruption.
I knew you was about to say PTL.
Yeah. Pass the loot.
PTI.
Yeah,
which is a very good show. I do enjoy watching that. But,
oh, yeah.
Earlier in the week, Monday night football, it was college football, and Georgia finally got the monkey off their back, so to speak. First time in 41 years they had won a national title. Did you get a message from Derek Smith?
I didn't, but I did. I saw his post on Facebook.
Did you? I got a brief message.
You did?
I did, just a brief message, middle of the night, which I'm sure he was
probably taking a little brown water in celebration.
I'm sure I would have been. I'm sure he was in celebratory mode.
Yeah.
And his text to me was, we finally did it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Well, we finally did it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yep. Looked. You know what? The game was a much closer. I slept through more of that game than I got to watch. I was that exhausted for whatever reason on Monday night, and I think it's because the Raiders and the Chargers on Sunday night
exhausted you.
Was one of the best games of the year that I've seen all year. Just a great game. Yeah. Went to overtime. The final minute, the Steelers on edge, Steelers fans on edge. There was a couple Steeler fans in that stadium watching that game, and the looks on their faces were priceless when it looked like it was going to end in a tie. And that's the only
thing
that would have eliminated Pittsburgh. The only thing that would have eliminated the Steelers. But what I liked is like they looked like they were going to run the clock out, and then at the last minute, Derek Carr with a little smirky look on his face, timeout with 2 seconds to go, and they kick it. And jubilation in Pittsburgh, disaster for the Chargers and their fans because they missed the playoffs and you know what, though? That's a rivalry and the West. First of all, this should never be able to happen. In a sport like the NFL, there should never be anything like a tie, in my opinion.
No.
You should not have ties. Then you don't have to worry about making the playoffs because of a tie or losing your spot. It's just ridiculous that we have ties. Find a quick way to solve it. I love the college game now with the 2-point conversions. It's do or die on one play. So you don't get exhausted by running play after play after play.
That's right.
It's one play once you get to the third overtime.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they need to find a way to not have any ties in any sports.
Like what was the game that changed the scenario for the college game? LSU, Arkansas, was that the one?
It was one of them that went 7. They had a couple different 7
overtime games.
They did have a 9 overtime this year, though, but it was still over like in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because of the format. Wasn't that Kentucky this year maybe with somebody? Went 9?
It was Kentucky and somebody.
Kentucky's starting to be known for its football. They had a good team this year.
I thought it was a Big Ten game.
It was. It was Penn
State. And
you're right. I don't know why I had Kentucky on my mind. You're right. It was Penn State and
Illinois.
Illinois, yes. Yeah, somebody you wouldn't expect. but
yeah, those last 7 overtimes. That's only 14 plays.
Right.
Yeah. That doesn't take all night. No.
Do they switch ends of the field at all ever? Or
I wouldn't think so.
Wouldn't you hate to be at that other end? That'd be my luck. You get to the other end, and then they play 7 overtimes at this one end, which would be great TV, or not TV, but great. It's great TV, but great to watch in person when every play that you watch is do or die for 7 overtimes. You know, so that's what, 14 plays that are do or die right there. That's got to be as entertaining as can be, and mentally challenging. Lenny says Penn State, mentally challenging as well whenever you get in that, because there's so much pressure. Not as much pressure, I guess, as there would be in a playoff game, but, you know, it's still a lot of pressure to win that game. But exhausted from watching the Raiders because that game lasted till, was it 1?
Yeah, it was late.
1 a.m. That game lasted 1 a.m. on a Sunday night.
That's why you were exhausted.
Stupid me stayed up, watched it. So then I fell asleep during the college game. But the fourth quarter, Georgia just stepped on the gas and took over the game and won the game in a big, big touchdown
So impressed
drive.
by Stetson Bennett. The throws he made, the way he led that offense.
And now they should play a tiebreaker to determine the champion.
Well, you basically got it. 2 out of 3. What about Stetson crying? Just bawling his eyes out there for about 5 minutes after the game. That's what you like to see. You know, I mean, that means it means something to somebody.
Well, his story is, one of the best that we've seen in the college football playoff history. What is it, 8 years? Walk on, always wanted to play at Georgia, went to a JUCO, made it back. A lot of doubters.
Lost his job.
Yep.
Earned it back.
And that's the ultimate football achievement for him, because he's not going to play in the NFL.
No, you're right.
So that's his peak.
That's his peak.
You don't think he'll get drafted at all?
No.
Really? I mean, I'm just wondering. I really hadn't thought
Although we know a couple other 5'11" quarterbacks.
But I don't think he's got the talent that those guys do.
I mean, we're talking Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Who else 5'11" has made it? Well, Baker Mayfield's not.
Yeah, I mean, he's there with Russell Wilson. Mayfield.
I was reading a text, but was it Flutie? Did you mention Flutie? Is that who you said?
Yeah.
Flutie was.
Yeah, he
Brees.
defied the odds.
I'm sure you mentioned Drew Brees.
I have Drew Brees, so it can be done.
Who did you mention then? If you didn't mention Flutie,
I didn't mention Flutie. I was just
Russell
He
Wilson.
said Kyler Murray.
I said
Russell Wilson.
Wilson's not very tall.
And Baker Mayfield's
He's
pretty
not very
small.
tall, so.
He hasn't made it yet.
But Stetson Bennett, he doesn't have the talent that those guys do. He's a game manager on a really loaded team.
Yep.
Right.
And it worked.
Those guys were star quarterbacks.
They were. Everyone you named was a star quarterback in college. They really were. Yeah. They never lost their job and had to earn it back. But it's good for Georgia. Obviously, I want to go back now and just look at the last 10 years. How many in the last 10 have been won by an SEC team?
Have Lenny look it up, but it's been dominant.
Clemson won 2, and Ohio State won 1.
That's it.
And I would say the SEC's got the rest.
We know Alabama's got a couple in there, 2 or 3
Auburn
in there.
Had one. And if you go back to the BCS.
That's more than 10.
Yeah, it's more than 10 years
more
ago.
Than
Was
10.
it? Okay.
But LSU's got one.
LSU's got one.
And now Georgia's got one.
Yeah.
So 4 teams. Well, if you go back to the Auburn one, 4 SEC teams have won the title since Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Is it more than that, or is it just 4? Have any others made the playoffs out of the SEC other than those 4?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
Outside of Auburn, Bama, Georgia, and LSU.
And then back before Auburn, Florida won a couple.
Oh, yeah, with Tim Tebow.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
And also with
been
Chris
kind of
Lee.
spread around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Is there a chance that we could see other SEC teams besides the 5 we just named in the mix?
Not likely, because not in the next 4 years, because I guess you heard what the ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips said yesterday, right? ACC's not interested in expansion, and it has to be all or none. So expansion for the next 4 years is dead, probably, until they finish out this contract.
Who is this? What's this idiot's name?
Jim Phillips, the new commissioner of the ACC.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Why would he not be why would you not want to see more of your conference teams in the playoffs?
His point was there are many other issues that need to be addressed in college athletics before we think about an expanded playoff in football.
Kick him out.
Yeah.
Kick him out. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
so now they're thinking until 2026 when they're able to renegotiate
I didn't realize
the
that.
contract. Yeah. It was big on some of the talk shows yesterday, ESPN, Sirius, ESPNU, Packer, and some of those.
I don't think it should have to be unanimous. If
it has to be unanimous.
You know what I mean? That's stupid too. I mean,
absolutely unanimous. That's
that sounds like NCHSAA stuff.
Yeah, all have to be in agreement, and if there's one holdout or one disagreement, then nothing happens. So I think one thing that may have changed the whole landscape, it seemed to be moving, and then Oklahoma and Texas bolted for the SEC, and I don't know, that seems to have changed the whole impetus for the playoff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if they did it right and just had the 5 Power 5s get an automatic,
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Then the Big 12 would be happy that Texas and Oklahoma left, because that gives other teams more opportunity to win that conference. And
exactly.
So I don't know. I don't get that. I don't know why he would say such a thing unless when I just think it would benefit your league. I mean,
maybe he's thinking his best chance to get one is only Clemson, and then you're going to see 3 or 4 SEC teams in it, and
it's going to stay that way until they expand.
That's right.
Because you do have a better chance to get. I mean,
of course you do.
Who's the second best program in the ACC right now?
I can't really
just right
think
now.
of one.
I mean, well, Pitt had a good year, but can they?
Yeah, but
sustain?
they've been erratic. No.
Yeah, they're not the second best program.
There was some hopes for North Carolina with Mac Brown, but they had a very disappointing season. I don't really know where that program's at. Virginia Tech
up and
now
down
has a new coach.
Up and down, but more down since Beamer left.
They weren't good.
Florida State still hasn't, or Miami. They've been in.
Where are they? What is going on with those programs?
I know.
I mean that.
Is it Wake Forest?
What's
is that the second best program?
Well,
hey,
no wonder you don't want to expand.
The Deacons. Yeah, I think that's it.
I love Wake Forest.
NC State. I mean,
yeah, NC State.
State's very consistent.
They're probably
they're going to go 9-3.
Yeah, 8-4,
9-3 every year. Yeah, so they would probably the second most stable program in the ACC.
Yeah, I'd like to see. What would be great is if we had a 10-year span, just the last 10 years in the ACC and what the records were. Clemson, I'm sure by far would be.
Oh yeah,
at the top, but the
I
rest
bet
of them would
NC
probably
State.
just be jumbled together. Yeah. The rest of them would probably just be jumbled together.
Like Brett said, Dave Doran. I mean, he pretty much going to win 8-9 games every year and go to a bowl game.
And it looks like everybody in Raleigh is just happy with that.
Yeah.
They're okay with that.
They're okay with that.
Because I don't think they ever expect to. It's
That's
sad,
about the
but they
best
don't
you can do.
compete. They don't expect to compete for a national title.
No.
They
You know?
don't.
That's kind of sad. But
I think Carolina has higher aspirations, but it just hasn't happened.
well, here's what we've seen is State on the stability line, just even keel, and Carolina's kind of up and down. You know,
Exactly.
so which one would you rather be? The even keel or the up and down that once every 10 years you have a shot at getting in that college football playoff, even though they've never made it. You know,
I
Yeah,
don't
even
know,
they don't have
not
a good shot.
right.
And, with all the bowl games being exhibitions now, except for 2, so what if you make a bowl game? Is it really that meaningful anymore?
No.
I mean,
No, I don't know what is meaningful to a program.
how do you judge? You used to say, well, a bowl game was a reward for a pretty good season, but
I think
I
every
mean, if you
coach
look
goes in saying our number one goal is win our conference.
win our conference.
You know,
That's always
our number one
the
goal is
number
win
one
our
goal.
conference, and I'm not even sure. I mean, the Alabamas and the Georgias and the Clemson, the Ohio State, and those kind of schools, they expect to be in the title hunt.
Yeah, Ohio
in the
State's
playoff
the
hunt
first
every
one
year.
I thought of. They won the Rose Bowl, but to them, I'm sure they had a disappointing season. They didn't win their conference. They didn't even play for their conference
Right.
Oh,
title.
absolutely. It's
Right.
They lost to
disappointing for Ohio
Michigan.
State.
Yeah. As well as with
And then,
Clemson and
When they
you
went
know,
to they went to the
anybody-
Rose Bowl,
Anybody that's been there,
some of their best players didn't even play.
Oh, yeah.
So
Didn't
that
they-
shows
they-
you what it means.
Right. They didn't have, their 2 top receivers.
Top 2 receivers, but then they had one that set records
Set
for
records.
that nobody really.
That just shows you the
knew
kind
as
of
much
depth
about.
they have.
Yeah,
And only about 3 or 4 programs in the country have that kind of depth. Ohio State, Clemson, Bama, and Georgia now,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Outside of that, can you think of anybody that has that, can just plug in people and they suddenly
the next one
become-
would probably be LSU.
LSU.
You know, just because of the
okay.
athletes that
I
they
agree.
put out there. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it.
And the SEC is just going to get stronger because I think Brian Kelly's going to do great.
Yeah, he
at
is.
Baton Rouge.
I think he will too. And I thought you were going to say it's only going to get stronger because Texas and Oklahoma are going to join. But
They'll be lucky. They'll be struggling for mid. I hope Oklahoma does well, but realistically,
is this?
are they a 3rd or 4th place team in the
Well,
SEC?
I think they'll be a lot like
Yeah, I think
what
they- I
Texas
think they can.
A&M has done since they joined.
Could be.
They're in the mix.
They're
Yeah.
in the
Sometime.
mix.
Yeah.
Not every year, but they're in the mix.
They're always ranked, and they're always good enough to beat, the top teams.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Their problem is they might beat Alabama, but then the next week they lose to,
Yeah.
a little lesser team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ole Miss
Yeah.
is headed
Forgot
in the
about
right
Ole Miss.
direction.
Absolutely.
I really like Lane
Did
Kiffin.
they hire a new DC or not? Or maybe
Well, they
I'm-
probably
maybe
hired
I
a new
dreamed
OC because their OC went to Oklahoma to
Okay.
be
A head coach.
Oklahoma's assistant.
assistant head coach.
Yeah, offensive coordinator.
But without revenue being one of the major factors, how does Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC help the SEC, or does it? I mean, can you think of a reason that this is great for the SEC other than revenue? Because it will bring in more revenue, I guess, for the conference.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the only reason you want the more teams, right? Which really hurts the rest of the nation because that conference is going to be so loaded with
Yeah,
revenue.
they
Yeah, I mean,
they print money.
everything I think of, it goes back to money. Like I was
Mhm.
thinking of them expanding west a little bit and picking up
Drawing that
more
TV.
more viewership,
Mhm.
but that's just that just goes back to the money
It's all
factor.
Yeah.
I don't know if it helps competitively. I mean, those schools are good in other sports.
They are.
Oklahoma's good at women's softball.
They've been dominated that.
Texas.
Not bad in baseball and basketball.
Texas is pretty good across the board.
Pretty good across the board, except for their football program.
It has struggled as of late, and it shouldn't. And it shouldn't.
Well,
I mean,
I got to
No, I
remind
don't.
you,
I don't think this
That's
move's
stupid.
going to help their
the
football
brand-
program
the
much.
brand of the SEC.
well, here's the only thing I see it may help a little bit. If you've got a kid that's debating on whether he's going to Texas or Texas A&M right now, he might say, "Well, I'd rather play in the SEC." So he's going to Texas A&M.
That's true.
And now Texas might get a couple extra recruits
Yeah.
because they can.
I think
offer
it will
that
help
too,
Texas's
you know?
recruiting, and of course Oklahoma recruits a lot in Texas as well.
Yeah. Yep. And right, and
You look at all Oklahoma's great players over in their history. Most of them come from Texas.
they do, and they don't battle anybody. They might run head to head with Oklahoma State just a little bit, but they
little.
battle Texas and Texas A&M more
Yeah.
for recruits than
Yeah,
they
it's
do.
always been their base,
Yeah.
and it just shows you how many good football players there are in Texas.
Right.
Everybody can feed at the trough.
Kind of like Florida. Florida's
Exactly.
California. Those
Florida,
are the
California, and
three tops.
Texas,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I just wondered if there was any advantages to those, though, because number one, if I'm in the SEC, this is just two more teams in my way
That's right.
of winning a conference championship and getting into the playoff.
It
You
is.
know, I mean, it's just two more in my
Two
way
more.
that make it tougher. But you know, it's not going to bother Alabama. It's not going to bother Georgia much. I don't
No.
think it'll even bother LSU that much. And Florida's got a long way to go to
They
climb
do.
back up. I thought they were on the right track, and I don't know what
Dan
happened this
Mullen,
year.
that whole thing just,
It
But Florida's
imploded.
yeah.
one I don't think it takes
Won't take long.
long.
The right
No.
coach.
No.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because there's so much talent in
And
Florida.
those players want to play there.
Yeah.
Those kids in Florida want to go play for the Gators. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to leave the state. It's just about they're leaving because the program's not where it needs to be.
Exactly.
If they start getting those guys and get the right coach in place, and they've hired a coach, right? Who is Florida's new
Yeah,
head
it was
man?
the Louisiana. I can't,
Yeah.
can't
Oh,
think
yeah.
of his
Billy
name.
Napier,
Napier,
Yep.
yeah.
who had tremendous success at Lafayette.
But
Lafayette.
the thing is, maybe he's the right guy, maybe he's not. You,
I know,
you
you
just
don't know.
really don't know for
You
2 to
don't.
3 years, you
Yeah.
know.
Can't say.
But it does not
In Florida,
take long.
they've really been through some coaches in the last
Oh,
since Urban Meyer left.
Yep.
They've had maybe 5 head coaches since he
oh
left.
yeah.
Has it been that many?
They had the guy from Wyoming, or was it Colorado? What was his name? Jim
McElwain,
McElwain
Mullen.
and Mullen. Oh, and don't forget, he was a defensive coordinator at Texas. Just recently got fired from South Carolina a year or so ago. Will Muschamp.
Muschamp, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this is at least their 4th
Yeah, they,
since
yeah.
Urban Meyer. And that's only, 12 years or so, maybe?
Yeah, 4 coaches in that span.
I'm trying to find it here just real quick. Bear with me. Florida head coaches. List of Florida Gator football head coaches. You'd think that would be. Oh, man. This goes back to Ron Zook.
Ron Zook, wow.
Remember when Ron Zook
Yeah.
he had the daunting task, though, of taking over for Spurrier, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that's like we've talked about that before.
And
That's not when you want in.
No.
You want to come in after the
And he was sort of a low-key guy. Didn't have Spurrier's flash or his charisma. Yeah, it was just a total change.
I finally find a site that's got it all listed, and it's not been updated since Muschamp. So that leaves me blank. Did you know Charlie Strong was the head coach at the University of Florida
No. He was too?
for one game?
Oh, boy.
So he was the interim head
Interim,
coach
okay.
after Ron Zook and before Urban Meyer, and before that Spurrier, Gary Darnell, which I don't remember. He went
Gary
7-3.
Darnell.
But the first name on here that I really recognize is Galen Hall. Galen
Yeah.
Hall was Emmett's coach, right?
Yeah.
Was the coach when Emmett Smith played there. Am I right about that or not?
Think
Surely he
so.
was.
That was in the 80s, right? Or no? Yeah. Early 80s?
I would say late 80s.
Late 80s,
Because Emmett
okay.
was in Dallas.
Yeah, Galen Hall.
in
I
the
do
early
remember
90s.
that.
Yeah. But I did not remember Charlie Strong being the head man.
And my
for
question
the
is,
one
where
game. But
is
then
Charlie
again,
Strong now?
tell me. You know, I mean, a once very promising college football coach that I don't know. We thought was going to take the college football by storm,
He
right?
did.
And
He
be
did.
wow.
Pretty good run at Louisville. Then he gets the Texas job. The Kingdom handed the keys to the Kingdom, but he couldn't unlock the door.
I like it, doesn't it, Mike?
After Urban Meyer, which he left in 2010, Will Muschamp, 2011 through 14. And then I guess an interim coach, DJ Durkin, coached 1 game. Then Jim McElwain coached 3 years.
Where did Michael Wayne come from? He was.
I think it was either head coach at Colorado or Wyoming.
It was Colorado State.
Yeah.
Colorado State.
Yeah,
that's
there
right.
you go. Yeah, I didn't think it was either one of those two programs.
And I guess he got fired mid-season because it looks like Randy Shannon took over for
Randy
half a
Shannon.
season.
Forgot about him.
He
Wow.
tried Miami one time too.
Yeah.
He tried Miami too.
Wow.
And then Dan Mullen. And now Billy Napier.
What a mess that's been.
Well,
It's just been a mess since Meyer resigned.
And I think all those guys since him have had at least one really good season.
yeah.
But it's the consistency.
Yeah, Mullen had 1 or 2
That haven't been
really
there.
good years, didn't he?
Going to read a couple messages that have rolled in this morning, then we're going to take our first time out. We appreciate you tuning in. Sorry for the technical difficulties that we had earlier, but it is break time here on Sports Talk. Here's what Lenny sent me. Here's what I hear. Right now, ESPN has exclusive rights to the college football playoff. When the contract expires, it could be opened to multiple networks to bid on. From what I hear, they want the college playoffs on a rotating basis like the Super Bowl, which means more money in the long run.
Yeah, makes sense. Can you imagine what if Apple TV got into the bidding?
I, for one, have just been oversaturated with some Herb Street.
Too much Herb Street.
I did not need to see him on an NFL game last week.
Yeah,
It was just like, give me an NFL crew. There are,
10 of them.
plenty of NFL crews out there. Leave Herb Street and Fowler on the college game. They know it much better.
And they're great.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But just don't bring them into the NFL. We don't need them doing the NFL games. And that's my opinion.
Yeah, and they got to do an NFL game on Saturday, and then they went and did the national championship on Monday.
I mean, come on, man. Let's give, as Randy Moss would say, come on, give us a break. Give us somebody else. There's
Do you think they could be grooming Herbie for Monday Night Football?
He don't
game?
want to do that, does he?
I
think he enjoys college more, and I mean,
he's got a much bigger platform.
Yep. And you know what? It could work out for him just like it has for coaches. Go from the college game to the professional game and disaster.
Yep.
All right, and then Butch says, let's not forget COVID. We have 8 winter sports teams in the CVAC that are currently quarantined until at least Tuesday. Well, everybody's going to be quarantined, too, at least Tuesday.
It's a good time to be quarantined.
Yeah, it is.
Good time to be quarantined if you have to
Schedules
be.
are in disarray, plus yours truly is coming off in quarantine after testing negative. He tested negative, but still was quarantined. So good thing Butch is testing negative right now. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back and look at last weekend's wacky NFL. 3 overtime games last week. It's one of the best Sundays ever because there were 3 overtime games that all have playoff implications. And then we'll take a look at this weekend's playoff games as well, plus some high school basketball.
How about college hoops?
College hoops. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Welcome back. We back? Welcome back. Glad to have you with us on a Saturday morning. Get prepared for the wintry weather that we haven't had a lot of that in the last decade. You know, I mean, but I did hear. When's
the last snow-ageddon we had?
I think I heard that the last time Charlotte had at least 6 inches of snow, which is rare in Charlotte. We get it obviously more than 6 inches of snow more than they do, but was 10 years ago or maybe even more than that since they had that amount. And they're not going to get that amount this time. They're going to get – we're right on that line like always. Ice, sleet.
Yeah.
I don't want the ice, though.
You know how Charlotte is, the gateway to Gastonia. They never get anything.
The gateway to Gastonia. Who did say that?
Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so funny.
Gateway to Gastonia. and
Bacon capital of the world. No, banking capital of the world.
Yeah, bacon. Who was it? There was one particular person they were making fun of, though, wasn't there? Or did I dream that?
I don't remember.
And who was doing that skit? Was it
Kenan Thompson? Kenan Thompson.
Thompson, yeah, that's right. He's hilarious anyway.
He is, yeah. And he's had a longer stint on that show than anybody else has ever been on.
Wasn't he one in the car accident that barely survived the car accident 3 or 4 years ago, Brett?
I don't know.
Have I got the right one? That
I don't know.
Yeah, seemed like he was nearly died in a traffic.
No, it was Tracy Morgan. Wasn't it?
Okay, well that's what I'm saying. I can't remember. Somebody from Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, Tracy Morgan. Yeah.
I'm going to go through the NFL schedule first for tomorrow, and then we'll look back at a little bit of last week and how exciting that was and everything. But the Raiders will be at Cincinnati. That's the first game of the playoffs. Kicks off today on NBC. The Patriots will be in Buffalo. That's where Brett tells me you got an updated weather forecast for Buffalo, New York, upstate New York, right there on Lake Erie.
Well, I think the high today is 12.
How are you if you're a Buffalo fan? Does it bother you? You care?
No.
Going anyway, right? You expect it to be 12,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it's mid-January. It's going to be 12. What do you expect? The wind is the key.
I don't think it's going to be real windy.
Well, these conditions aren't going to rival the famous Ice Bowl, right, in Green Bay, Packers and
Not
Cowboys.
when there's no precipitation and no wind or anything
what
like
was
that.
It that
it's just gonna
day?
be cold.
Minus 15 wind chill.
Well, I got news for you. That isn't even close to the coldest game in NFL history.
What is the coldest?
Well, the Cincinnati and
the
Chargers is the coldest. And then I think the game that the Giants played in Green Bay about 10, 12 years ago in the playoffs was
with
second.
Eli. With Eli, yeah.
Was second. But then again, neither one of those actually had ice on the ground, but they were just bitter cold.
Well, back in those days, they didn't have the technology, to keep the fields warm or dry.
I don't know if everybody has that now. I don't. I really don't know if everybody has that now.
I don't know.
It's a shame that
it says at the Ice Bowl in 1967, the wind chill was minus 48.
Ooh.
Well, maybe it was the coldest. Check
I
San
always thought
Diego.
it was.
Check San Diego at Cincinnati.
That was a cold.
In the 80s. Yeah. Because I know
so the
got
Ice Bowl, the
frostbite.
temperature was lower, but at the Cincinnati-San Diego game, the wind chill was lower.
There you go.
Okay.
Minus 59.
Ooh.
In Cincinnati. Think about it.
The temperature was minus 9. And then at the Ice Bowl, the temperature was minus 13.
At what point on the temperature on that thermometer, when it gets to that one point, it doesn't matter to you if it gets any lower?
That's
because it's
right.
all going to be the same. I'm asking. What?
I don't know.
20?
20, 25.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to experience that minus 50 wind chill.
No,
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not going
But, yeah, to me, if the temperature is 20 or if it's 0, it's
same.
Yeah.
It's about the same.
And the wind makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
If you cover yourself completely with everything that you should wear outside in 20 degrees, you'll be all right. But if that wind's blowing in your face, if that wind's blowing, it's a whole different story.
It'd be interesting to see how the Buffalo fans dress out for it. I mean,
did you see anything about the wind in Buffalo?
Not windy.
You remember a few weeks ago when they played New England, wasn't it? And the wind was blowing like 100 miles an hour or whatever. Didn't New England attempted 3 passes that night, right? But won the game. Not going to be like that in Buffalo, but it is going to be cold as they play at Orchard Park. We're going to get everybody's in here's picks in just a little bit.
And don't you think
on these games.
The extreme weather favors the underdog?
Usually.
unless the underdog's like a warm weather team.
I think.
But in this case, they're both cold weather teams.
Well, I think Bill Belichick favors New England.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
because to me,
Buffalo
has clearly the better team.
Oh, they're a way better team, personnel.
But I think the extreme weather kind of levels the.
And you know, I would say that Buffalo
field.
has the edge because New England beat them in Buffalo. But since that happened, Buffalo's already been to New England and beat them. You know, just a couple
pretty
weeks
bad,
ago,
wasn't
right?
it?
Yeah. But we'll see. I still think. Well, we'll get into picks after a while. But I mean, I would favor Buffalo at this point. Tomorrow afternoon, it will not be snowing in Tampa. Your early game, Philadelphia at Tampa, 1 o'clock, followed by San Francisco at Dallas. I don't think it matters if it's snowing in Dallas since they have a indoor stadium. Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Now, one thing I can tell you about that, Kansas City will probably be bitter cold because Kansas City has some of the most extreme hot in the summer and some of the most extreme cold in the winter. So I can't imagine it won't be cold at Arrowhead on Sunday night. And then on Monday night, surely this will be Steve Levy and crew. They'll get this game right since it's on ABC, ESPN network. Arizona and the Los Angeles Rams from sunny California.
Yep.
Looks like the weather in Kansas City should be good tomorrow.
Good as in 35?
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Low of 26 tomorrow. Only an 8% chance of precipitation.
Now they've had some bitterly cold playoff games.
If that's not windy, that's not bad.
No.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
That's comfortable.
Yep.
Actually, if you're bundled up.
Yep. Just a couple things I wanted to talk about the NFL. And about what went on last week. Of the teams that got in the playoffs, who do you think had the most convincing win, most satisfactory win, the biggest win, whatever you want to call it? Was it the Raiders? Of course, their game was at home. They won at home over the Chargers, and it did go to overtime. That got themselves in. I think Cincinnati had actually won the division the week before. Had they not? They had already signed up the division the week before. New England, Buffalo, I don't think what they did last week was just overwhelming. Philly, did they even need to win last week?
No.
To get in, they were already in.
No, Dallas. They got
same.
blown out by Dallas.
Yep. Now Tampa Bay did go to overtime to win, right? A week ago.
Right.
Over.
Last week they
Panthers.
beat the
Panthers
Panthers.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the week before they went to overtime.
The overtime, yeah.
I think it has to be, just looking at the teams, it has to either be Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh, who went to overtime, San Francisco, who beat the Rams and had to have that win to get in, or the Raiders. One of those three. And all three of them had big wins. What's the deal with San Francisco and the Rams? 6 straight for San Francisco over the Rams. Are the Rams not more talented?
On paper, they have a better roster, that's for sure.
Or do they just have the superstar
I think
names
that's
that
it.
stand
I
out?
think they have more stars.
More stars, but San Francisco is deeper in talent. Right?
I would say they're pretty even.
Would you?
Yeah. San Francisco is just one of those playoff type teams, I think. I mean, they can run the ball.
Can run the ball.
They're physical. Good defense.
I think Deebo Samuel may be one of the most underrated players in the NFL. He can do a lot of different things. And I saw this week he made All-Pro and very deserving. And All-Pro is not Pro Bowl. All-Pro is one team, that combines the AFC and NFC. If you make All-Pro, you are pretty much the best at your position, But I thought that Deebo Samuel just makes things happen. To me, that's the best matchup of the weekend, San Francisco and Dallas, because you just don't know what you're going to get out of either one. But neither have been very consistent. But if both play like they're capable, that should be a really good football
Well, we
game.
know Dallas can beat everybody in the NFC East, but what's their record against the rest of the league?
Now, what you want to see is what's their record against the AFC West.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
No.
It's 1-3 against the AFC West with an overtime win.
Mm-hmm.
Their only win came over the Chargers in overtime. They did lose to the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Broncos.
Sure.
But they're playing at home, and they've been very good at home.
Yeah.
They put up a lot of numbers at home. And if they put up a lot of points, they're going to beat San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It has to be a game in the 20s, I think.
Arizona, Los Angeles. I don't know what to expect out of either one of those. I mean, Arizona had a tremendous first, 7-8 games of the season.
Weren't they like 10-1?
Mediocre ever since.
Yeah, they lost, 6 out of the last, 5 out of the last 6 out of the last 7.
Have had some injuries, but then again, who hasn't?
Murray's had some injuries, but
Everybody has them.
I don't know.
In the NFL. I don't know what you'll get there between Arizona and Los Angeles. I don't think Pittsburgh has enough to go into Kansas City and win. I may be wrong. Their defense will have to be outstanding because what does Pittsburgh have to hold Kansas City to have a chance in that game? They can't hold them to 35.
21.
It would
I mean,
it would have to be in the low 20s.
Are they capable of doing that?
I don't see it.
If it was at Pittsburgh,
I don't know. I don't even know
say
if they're-
maybe.
I don't think their defense has even been great this year up until the last couple games. Last couple games they've been good.
Mainly just T.J. Watt. I mean, he's had a great year.
I mean, it would be a great story for Big Ben, in his last hurrah, if they could pull it off. But realistically, it doesn't seem possible. but you never know. That's why they play the game.
Yep. NFL is the most unpredictable sport there is, and the playoffs kind of fall into that category too. It used to mean so much to get home field advantage because 80% of playoff games the home team would win.
Yep.
It's not like that.
No.
I don't think it's quite like that anymore.
Well, Pittsburgh does they can pound it a little bit with Najee Harris. I don't know, but their defense would have to would have to play its best game of the year.
Yeah, I think it would too. But with Kansas City, now here's one thing you got to watch for in this game. Everybody says Kansas City is not the physical team that they were 2 and 3 years ago. Pittsburgh is physical.
They are physical.
So if they get in there and play a physical game, who knows what could happen.
So you're saying Kansas City's defense is not as physical as it was when they won the Super Bowl?
They're not even as physical on the offensive side either. I don't think as they were a couple years ago. Yeah, and a lot of times a more physical team takes over and wins.
That's right.
Especially in the playoffs.
That's why you got to remember the Titans, right? Because they play that kind of game.
Yes.
Does the NFL still
my
do
Super Bowl pick, by the way?
Okay.
Will it be the
At
lowest
the beginning of the year?
lowest seeded team that's left will play the number 1 next week, or is it just they draw the bracket and that's how it is?
I think it's the lowest seeded team. Yeah, because it used to be you had to fill in the blank. You didn't know who you was going to be playing, so I think they'll play the lowest seeded team. Do they not? Which would only be fitting. I mean, that's you earned the top seed. I think you should get to play.
So, like, if Pittsburgh wins, they automatically go to Tennessee next week.
I would say that's right.
And if Kansas City wins, then it would most likely be the winner of that 4 or 5.
You could probably find
matchup.
there should be a bracket somewhere that would tell all that.
Yeah,
I would think. I don't know how to find it, but I do think that I think that's the way it was in the past. That you played the lower seeded team. I know we've added teams since then, but it still should be that way because you've earned that. You've earned that right as Tennessee has.
but they don't do that in any other sport. All other sports, the brackets, drawn up before the playoffs, and it stays that way.
That's why football is the best sport. NFL does it right, I think. I mean, I think the NFL does this kind of thing right. Gets their playoffs right.
It's kind of like you reseed.
Except for the ties. I
after
don't
each
like
round.
a tie. I want to do away with ties. There should never be a tie in any sport, but especially the NFL.
Yes.
The NFL is the only level of football that you can end in a tie.
That's the one thing.
That's silly. Just very silly.
I mean, they're geniuses at almost everything else, and they do it better than almost any other league, but professional league. But, yeah, you're right.
Vegas, Cincinnati. Just trying to think. Last week we talked about the Raiders and their great win. I did read just as we went on the air this morning that for whatever reason, I can't think of his name. You guys might. The interim coach that took over for Gruden in Vegas.
I can't think of his name either.
I can see his face.
I can too.
That probably won't be back. Probably will not be back.
No.
As the I don't know why, because I think he did. Who did a better job with their team under all the circumstances that he had to deal with? Loss of a head coach, the Henry Ruggs situation. And he kept that team together, and they just got better and better. And I thought Derek Carr played his best football.
Absolutely.
After Gruden.
Yeah. He did a great job of
I like
steadying
that guy.
the ship.
I like that guy. I like to pull for him. He has a lot of heart and a lot of class when, in his interviews.
Do you think he'll be he's got to be a candidate, or not?
For?
Well, the permanent job.
I just said it. I just read on here that probably
He's
won't
not?
be back.
Okay.
I think I don't know.
That's Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah, there was Rich Bisaccia, and there was rumor that they're going to go after Harbaugh.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the right move or not.
But I heard Harbaugh could also be interested in the Chicago Bears job.
Which he played for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he ever played for the Raiders.
No,
but
I
he
see.
played for the Colts and the Bears is all I remember.
Of course, he won on the West Coast with the 49ers. I'm just trying to picture his, his style in Vegas. But, hey, why not?
And that was he made the move from Stanford to San Francisco, right? So that was, he was already there in that area.
Very
very
successful.
true.
Very successful NFL coach.
Yeah.
With, when he was with San Francisco.
One of the few coaches that's been able to have success at both levels, right? Can you think of any others outside of Pete Carroll?
Here's the one deal with Harbaugh, though. If you're going to give Harbaugh the job, you're going to have to get out of the way because he likes to call his own shots. He don't want ownership and interfering and stuff. That's why he got ran out of San Francisco.
Yeah,
they didn't like him.
It wasn't because of any on the field thing.
What was his? You should look it up and see what his record was in the year he got fired. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember, but they were probably in the playoffs.
Yeah,
But he got fired just because management didn't like his attitude or the control that he wanted. But he was winning. So which is it? Which is more important?
Winning.
Well, look at Marty Schottenheimer.
Just win, baby,
what
win.
Was it? Dana, what was the owner of the Chargers? Dana, was it Spanos?
Yes.
Is that the right name?
I think that's right.
Fired Marty Schottenheimer after a 14-2 season.
Yeah.
He didn't like Marty's attitude and his control. Hey, which is more important, being in?
Of course, one of Marty's problems was they could never win in the playoffs.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah. He can't.
What did he
either.
do? He got rid of the famous Jimmy Johnson,
because
because he didn't like Jimmy having more control than him.
And really, they've never got back to that level
And
since.
it's sad that the owners want more control than they want wins. I mean.
Well, there's egos involved at
I
the
know.
highest power levels, in any corporation.
And you can even go all the way down to Brady and Belichick. Wasn't
Yeah.
owners, it was player and coach, and now they've gone their separate ways, and both have been successful, but Brady's got him right now because he's got an extra ring. A ring that
You know,
Bill
the
don't have.
last year that the Patriots won a playoff game without Brady? Heard it on the way up today. Maybe Lenny knows.
1776.
94.
And that would have been, don't tell me, let me think a minute. Would that have been Bledsoe? Or do you even know? I mean,
It would have to be Bledsoe.
well, yeah. How far back do you have to go before it's Tony Eason?
Ooh,
or,
Tony Eason.
Tony Eason. And
He
who
was
who was the other one they had back then that was good? Eason and this other guy kind of split time from time to time. Tony Eason and
Was
God.
Bledsoe there in '94?
I don't know.
Was he?
I don't know. I'm just saying, is that?
That's just
I
what
guess he was.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking he came after that, but
All I remember was the Jets hit on the sideline that knocked Bledsoe out that put Brady in the game, and it never. The rest is history.
rest
right?
is history.
Yeah. And I don't remember who the Jet was. That wasn't Bart Scott. He's the first one always comes to mind. But
Brian Cox wasn't he a Jet?
It
Yeah,
might
have-
he was a Jet.
I mean, I don't know if it was him, but
You know what?
he would have been around that time.
It might be. I can't remember who it was, but it might be.
Harbaugh 49-22 in the NFL.
God, really good record.
Well, he's winning. He's winning over 2/3 of his games. And
69%.
in the NFL, 60% is good.
Yeah.
You know, in the NFL.
It was actually 70% in the regular season,
Wow.
and then 5-3 in the postseason.
Yep.
So what did he do his final year? Do you have his final year?
8-8.
Okay, so they had an excuse.
They didn't have an excuse. Yeah.
8-8. How many coaches do we? Well, it's changed now. It used to be 8-8 wouldn't get you fired. 4-12 get you fired, but 8-8 didn't get you fired. Today's a whole new world. 12-4 get you fired in some organizations. You know what I mean? So it's and while we're on that subject, which is the most shocking coach release to you guys in the NFL?
Oh, it's got to be Flores with the Dolphins.
Yeah, after they had that strong late season run.
Have we ever heard ownership speak or the general manager say why he's rough to get along, hard to get along with, right? I mean, is that what they said? Just hard to talk to?
I mean, everything I've heard has been about his relationship with Tua, and I guess
Tua's
the franchise decided to go with Tua, instead of going after instead of keeping Flores and going after a new quarterback. I guess the quarterback is harder to replace than a coach.
No doubt.
So,
well, we see that in the NBA too, right? You're an NBA fan. I mean, LeBron.
Well, I tell you what. Now you really hit something there that's a debate. Is the quarterback or the coach harder to replace? Think about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a good question.
well, to me, if you have a great quarterback,
You have a good coach.
it doesn't really matter that much who the coach is.
Makes him look better.
But if
right?
you have a great coach, it still matters.
Yeah,
who the
Belichick hasn't
quarterback
won a
is.
Super Bowl, and Brady has since they
Yeah.
That's a
great
separated.
point.
And did Tampa even need
But
a
Tampa
head coach
was loaded
last year?
I mean, Tampa's roster was loaded. Let's face it, that
was.
roster was loaded.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of quarterbacks would have won that Super Bowl with that. I'm not taking anything away from Brady because he is great.
Yeah.
But a lot of quarterbacks could have won a Super Bowl with that unit. Not many were going to win with what New England had on the roster last year.
Yep.
And if he wins it this year, he's just a genius times two.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're probably the weakest roster in the playoffs.
The Bucks.
No, the Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost amazing that he's where he is. He's in the playoffs
I know.
again, I don't know. I just Flores, so if you want to rank the surprises, I don't know. I can't even think of which all coaches have been let go. But if you want to rank, he has to be number one, right? Flores number one.
Yeah, and I think he'll get a job this year. I think he'll
As
be
a
a
head
head coach
coach.
next year.
Buffalo coach intact. You guys help me here. New England intact. Miami gone out the door. Jets. Robert Saleh, he'll be back. Cincinnati's good. Pittsburgh's good. Cleveland's good. Baltimore's good. That's probably that may be the most stable division over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
As far as coaches go.
Moving to the
let's see.
NFC, are you guys? Well, obviously Matt Rule is not going to be fired, but are you surprised that he's not? Or do you think he still might be?
He's got to get the right quarterback in place and then give the guy a shot. I don't think he'll be fired. If he hadn't been fired by now. But
probably on probation.
Oh
for
yeah,
next
one
year.
more year like this, and it's over.
5-12 is about the worst they've done in a while.
Well, here I got a list of the ones that are gone.
Okay,
Okay.
Houston, David Culley
that
was
surprised
fired.
me. That would have to be number 2.
Yeah.
because like I said, they were only 4-12, but it's his first year, and I thought they played their best football the last 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. You did.
And their rookie
They got
quarterback,
better.
I thought played pretty
Yeah.
well. Davis Mills.
Miles Davis.
Yeah, Miles Davis.
Miles Davis, Jazz great.
Joe
the side.
Judge of the Giants That didn't surprise me.
No, I was surprised they waited as long as they did.
Me too.
It took a couple of days. At first, the first report I saw said Giants elect to keep Judge. He's going to come back.
But they fired the GM.
They must have took a lot of pressure, a lot of heat from fans over that decision.
Yeah. Well, Joe Judge was starting to embarrass them in press conferences and stuff.
And where did Brian Flores? Where was he the defensive coordinator before he went to Miami? It wasn't with the Giants, was it? Because I thought that could be a good fit.
That could be a good fit.
Yeah.
I still think the Giants. You know, we all like Daniel Jones. He's a Charlotte Christian guy. He went to Duke, but I don't think he's
sentimentally we like him.
I don't think he's a franchise QB.
No, he's not.
You know,
he's a backup. I mean, he's a journeyman.
Matt Nagy, Chicago, was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Fangio.
We saw that one come. Fangio surprised me a little bit, just a little bit. I still think Fangio, he's going somewhere and he's going to be a great defensive coordinator for somebody because he's probably one of the best.
Yeah, he's done it. He's done it before. Mike Zimmer with Minnesota, and I think that's just the time. Yeah,
it was time. They need a change.
I don't think he's a bad coach.
No, I've always liked Zimmer. Same thing. He'll be a defensive coordinator for a couple of years and might get another offer again down the road.
Yeah, they'll just recycle him.
And he might just get hired as a head coach because sometimes a change does the coach and the team good.
Yeah.
And then the other job openings, Urban Meyer, Jacksonville, and then the Raiders job. Gruden, of course, Gruden was fired.
So name the
halfway through the season.
Name me the teams again, and I want you to tell me which one, if you were offered all of them, you'd take.
Texans, Giants, Dolphins, Bears, Vikings, Broncos, Jaguars, Raiders.
The top two I would take are in the same division.
I would take the Raiders.
I'd take the Raiders and the Broncos.
Yeah, that's who I was
probably
thinking.
One and two because the Raiders have their quarterback in place.
As far as teams that are ready to win, yeah. Well, I mean, I think the Dolphins could still be good. I would not want the Texans' job.
No.
Why? Quarterback situation?
Well, they just live in the long shadow of the Cowboys.
Well, like y'all were saying earlier, their ownership is supposedly near the bottom.
Yeah, and that's sad because it's from Rutherford County.
I wouldn't want the Jaguars' job, even though they have their quarterback.
No, that's the last one I'd take. That's the last one I would take.
It's not a huge TV market.
No, that's just
honestly, I'd probably put the Giants third in my, just because.
Just because it's the Giants.
Yeah.
Because it's the Giants. And
I might even put them ahead of Denver.
Yeah, that's a close one.
Because, I mean, if you got the right quarterback in place, you have a great fan base, you're playing in New York City, the big market. The Giants, you and I've talked about it, Mike, football's better when those kind of teams are good. It just makes the whole NFL better. Raiders are another one like that. It's Dallas. Just love them or hate them, no matter what it is. You got fans that love and hate these, and that's why it makes football better.
It was New England that Flores came from.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, he was under Belichick for years, as a few years as the defensive
The
coordinator.
Belichick coaching tree has had mixed results as head coaches, haven't they?
Let me tell you a stat I saw yesterday, and there's no way I can find it because it was on a tweet, I think. But did you know that Belichick, seven quarterbacks that Belichick has drafted are in the playoffs this year?
Well,
7 quarterbacks that he has drafted are in the playoffs this year, including Mac Jones and Tom Brady.
Who are the others?
Well, some of them are coaches.
Okay.
Some of them have moved on to be coordinators and stuff like that. But I can't name them because I could look at the list of names. A lot of them I didn't even remember.
Well, the other player would be Garoppolo.
Garoppolo, you drafted. That's 3. So that means there's 4 of them. And there's a couple. There's 1 or 2 more that are backups, and then there's 1 or 2 that are coaches.
Okay.
On staff.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty neat that 7. I mean, that's still an accomplishment. No matter what your job is.
Of course, at the other end of the spectrum, you've had guys. Who was the Detroit coach that went from New England to the Lions and flamed out?
Matt Patricia.
Yeah, Matt Patricia. He didn't work out. But
he didn't draft him though.
True.
He hired him, but
he didn't
draft him. He did great though under Belichick.
Brian Flores, kind of like a Mike Tomlin But I think Pittsburgh is built for a coach like Tomlin, and maybe Miami is just not. That's just not the kind of place where – I mean, I don't think Mike Tomlin's really a player's coach. Don't you think he's a little more on the –
Now, why'd you bring Tomlin up? I was reading the text.
I said I look at Flores kind of like a Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, no nonsense.
As far as, the personality.
Yeah.
And I think Pittsburgh is built for that kind of personality where Miami's not.
I think there's a lot of respect in the locker room in Pittsburgh for Tomlin, and I think he's a little bit of a player's coach. I think he's tight with his players, but he also keeps the distance he needs to keep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a fine line there, right?
But I think Flores could go to the Giants or like the Bears.
I was going to say Chicago.
And I think that'd be a great fit.
Chicago should be
for
one of
his
the first
personality
ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
As a top job, and even Minnesota.
Yep.
Even Minnesota may have the best roster. I think of the jobs that are open. I actually think just in my opinion, I think the Raiders have the best roster of any opening. But I would say that that Minnesota may be next.
Yeah. Well, they've got a quarterback.
Well, in a way they do, and in a way they don't. Not everybody's sold on Cousins. That's the same. That's the problem with Chicago. If
that's my one drawback from Chicago is you don't know.
You don't know yet.
I would almost rather go to a place that just doesn't have the quarterback than go somewhere that has one that you don't know about.
Fields could be the guy. He could be the guy.
Could be.
But
because I think if you go to
take that job without knowing.
I think if you go to the Giants,
you're starting over at quarterback.
Yeah, because Daniel Jones is not the guy.
No.
That's sad, isn't it? We're going to take a timeout. I wanted to mention another text here I got from Lenny this morning. Said, I heard what Mike said about Commissioner Phillips' comments. I think the Big Ten and the Pac-12 have similar views because those three formed an alliance.
That's right, the alliance.
After Texas and Oklahoma joined the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
This is my personal opinion. The alliance is designed to try to counter the expansion of the SEC. Those three fear losing the grasp of how this college football playoff is run, although the SEC has dominated who plays in it.
Good comment. Yeah, I forgot about that alliance those conferences formed in the wake of Texas and OU bolting. They try to protect their interests, I guess.
Will it keep anybody else from leaving the alliance? I mean, or I guess the schools that have joined the alliance won't go anywhere. But everybody didn't join, right? I mean,
what was the Pac-12, ACC, and Big Ten? I think those are the three.
Yeah, those were the three you named.
Let's see.
But just because those three commissioners wanted to form an alliance, that doesn't mean that each school wanted to be.
Yeah. That's what I'm
part
thinking.
of that.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I'm like you. I don't see how an expanded playoff doesn't help everybody.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe somebody could sit down and convince me. But
I know there are other problems.
Take a hard argument to convince me it wouldn't help.
Yeah, I mean there are other problems like you need some kind of standards or regulations for the name, image, likeness thing. But I'm like you. The fans want it. That's for sure.
All right, let's take a time out. We're going to talk about some little college hoops. Mike wanted to get in a little bit of college basketball. We also talked about high school game. We'll let Mike talk about the high school game he attended last night, a good comeback that came up short for one team out of our area. But let's take a time out, come back with more here in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. The blizzard of 22.
That's it.
Or whatever we have.
Will go down in infamy, or won't it? Will it be a bust or a...
I hope it is. You guys like this weather.
Brett, I like to watch it snow. And if we had some snow and, at least snow doesn't take down power lines.
That's right.
Snow is a little easier to get off of your driveway.
It is.
It's easier to travel in. But ice, no, I don't like that.
I don't like
I don't like that, and I don't want any part of that, and I don't want it to keep me from watching NFL Sunday.
Of course.
I think we'll be okay today, but who knows by tomorrow at 1 o'clock when the NFL games start on Sunday afternoon. Who knows what kind of shape we'll be in. Rodney Willis, who we know is a Raider fan, says Raiders' Rich Bisaccia deserves Coach of the Year for what he has done, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And they're talking about not even bringing him back, and he should be a candidate for Coach of the Year. The mess he inherited in a sinking ship. 3-2 when Gruden got fired with all the drama around that.
Yeah.
Then 3 weeks later, the Ruggs issue.
Yeah.
Arnett, the cornerback situation.
Yeah, they just had one calamity after another.
Both were former first-round picks, by the way, that he lost.
Yeah.
The team has played for him, and I think he deserves the chance to continue to lead them. He is a leader that I want, is what Rodney says. And then
convincing statement.
And then he ends with this, which this is great. Who they say going to beat them Bengals? And he says, the Raiders.
Right.
That should be good.
It should be.
That should be one of the best games of the weekend, I would think. I mean, the Bengals are.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's.
You talking about
he's becoming
team,
one of my favorite players.
They are the team set for the next
NFL.
15 years.
They are. Yeah.
Because Burrow is incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it, he is incredible. He's, I liked Justin Herbert as the next big time Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, whatever you want to call him. I liked Herbert.
But you now supplant
I'm on the
him.
Burrow. I'm on the Burrow side right now. But they're 1-1A.
Yeah.
I would think. All depends on who keeps the best supporting staff around them. The Bengals have had a better season, to me, because of Burrow. But the Chargers have a better roster, top to bottom. Now, don't get me wrong. The Bengals are really good at wide receiver.
The Chargers have a
really
better
good at wide
defense.
receiver. Yeah.
But, yeah, as far as the offensive, at least the weapons, I don't know about their offensive lines, but they're both really good.
They are both good.
Good running backs and good receivers on both teams.
This is sad to say because you've got quality teams in the NFC North, but I would rather play in the Bengals division right now than I would the Chargers because you got the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Broncos. The Broncos are just a quarterback away, I think, from being that's going to be a tough division for quite a while, I think, But, Pittsburgh is a storied franchise that's probably not going to be down long. They're down. We're talking about them I'm talking about them being down there in the playoffs, yeah. The Ravens have gone through more injuries this year, or at least as many injuries as any NFL team has ever.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
really, John Harbaugh did a decent job of just trying to glue that team together.
And the Browns are no longer a joke by far. They are significant now.
They are. They got a good roster.
Yeah, but I would still rather battle the AFC North right now than I would the AFC West, I think. Of course, you got 2 teams in the playoffs from the North, and have you got 2 from the Raiders and the Chiefs, right?
Raiders
from
and
the
Chiefs.
West. So. And the Chargers were just eliminated on the last play of the season, or they could have been in there as well. What you got on college basketball? Let's hear it. You guys want to talk college basketball? Fill me in.
You guys.
Mike?
Well, I was just no, nothing really. It just
well, Mike attended a Wake Forest Duke game this week.
That's the only thing I want to talk about.
That's good. That's good because I haven't been to a college basketball game in several years.
Yeah, it's a different thing, of course, during the COVID era. And first, we didn't think we were going to get in because of proof of vaccination was required, but we did. Still a pretty good atmosphere. Disappointed that Krzyzewski was not there. That really was our whole purpose, trying to see a Duke game in his last hurrah as head coach. But
I could have told you earlier in the day, I didn't even think about it, that he was not going to be on the sideline.
I didn't hear that till about 5 o'clock or 5:30. hour and a half before tip. So, but
let me ask you this then, since we're on this subject. Will Duke miss a beat with Shire taking over?
I think that's a good question. He's certainly recruiting very well already. He's kind of he's 2-0 when he's taken charge of the team. When Krzyzewski's been out, he was out a game last year too, I think, wasn't he, Krzyzewski?
Yeah. He even had some COVID issues last year.
I wonder the luster of Duke, will that fade when Kay hangs it up? I don't think so.
I don't think it will immediately.
Not
but
immediately.
I think he has to win. I think he just has to continue winning games.
Yeah.
If you go back and look, Duke haven't won a lot of conference titles lately. I mean, as far as regular season, they haven't been up there at the top that much. They haven't gone to Final Fours lately.
No, they haven't. They haven't been to a Final Four since 2015.
I dare to say it might get better.
You think so?
It's hard to follow the legends. We've talked about that forever. Who followed Wooden?
Yeah, what I worry about
you don't know
is the national
brand
hate for Duke. I think might fade a little bit.
Which is what
I don't want
Duke
it to.
Feeds
no, I don't either. And that's what makes them so special.
That's true.
It's what makes a lot of players want to go there.
Yeah.
Yep. The brotherhood against the world.
And I know they're getting a really good recruiting class next year. But when those players visit, they see Coach K on that sideline, and that's got to play a factor, even though they know he's not going to be their head coach. I mean, I would really worry about the program.
Yeah. Because when they see Coach K, they know that that's a fast track to the NBA. It has been for the last 6 or 7 years.
Sure it is.
His affiliation with USA Basketball, his connections in the pro ranks. I agree. I'm like Brad. I think immediately, because of the recruiting that Shire's done, they'll be okay. But you're right. You look down the road. Will Duke be the same brand that they were?
Gene. Lenny said Gene Bartow followed.
That's right. Gene Bartow went from UAB to Calamity and UCLA. While we're on the subject, we got to give. How about Hubert Davis? What is the vibe or take on him among UNC fans?
Well, let's ask Lenny if he's satisfied.
Yeah.
Or Rodney.
I'm
Are
curious.
they satisfied
what do they
with what
think
you've got
about
so far? I honestly think with any coach, it takes a couple years.
It does.
I mean, with any coach, it's going to take a couple years to see what you got.
Sure it does.
But I just think Shire is. I don't know. I don't know if they could have made a better hire. Really, I mean,
not among the Duke coaching tree.
He's got to go at some point. He's got to retire, right? Yeah. I mean, but I'm not sure they could have made a better hire.
You look at the other
knowledge.
I think X's and O's. He'll be really good, and I think he'll have good relationships with players and families and that kind of thing.
They just need to.
I wonder about his intensity.
His staff.
Coach K has a certain intensity that isn't really.
Well, when he gets pissed off, you know it. You know what I mean?
You don't really see that with a lot of coaches these days.
Well, we don't really know about Shire. I mean, he's certainly filled in a couple times successfully, but we don't know exactly what his style would be yet.
Yeah.
But
one thing I've kind of
Lenny says I'm okay with Hubert Davis, but he was not my first choice. So
one thing I've seen out of Duke recently,
Krzyzewski.
Duke plays a lot of one-on-one.
They do.
And I wonder if Shire will change that, or if that's just what the college game is becoming now with so many one-year players.
I think that's a great question.
Is Krzyzewski do that because he's getting those kids ready for the NBA? Because
I think he lets them have. I think he just lets them have a lot of freedom.
Right.
Yeah, in the last 5 or 6 years, I just felt some of the shots we see, the one-on-one play. I don't know that you'd have seen that 10 years ago.
No.
Is he? Do you think he's knowingly sacrificing some wins?
Yeah.
To let them play.
And
that
they
way?
don't. Duke doesn't. I don't think Duke has the goal of winning the conference title.
No.
And they might make it a goal to win the tournament.
Sure.
But I don't think it's a goal of theirs to win the regular season.
No.
Well, it may be a goal, but it's not emphasized like the other ones.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I could see that.
I think they, some of what he tries to do is get better 1 week at a time. And they do a lot of, mixed lineups.
Yeah.
He used to would have a lineup by the third game of the year and not change it for the rest of the season.
Do you think that?
But I think the players have way more freedom than they did 10 years ago.
So what I was going to ask you, is that a recruiting tool?
Probably.
We let you play NBA style basketball. You come in.
That really helps to get those top 10.
Set ball screens, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You might set a ball screen up high, but then that's it. I mean, they don't run back doors.
And that might be what keeps those top 5 to 10 players in the country coming in every year. That they enjoy playing that way, and it helps them. And you may not win, you may not go to the Final Four, but this kid's got his draft stock in the top 5. And he knows that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
I'm a veteran team kind of guy, though. I want to see some juniors and seniors because that's about the only way you're going to win a title.
Well, yeah.
Anymore.
Look at the last couple championships. Baylor last year was a veteran team. Who won it the year before?
Good question.
Nobody.
That's
That's
right.
right. We didn't have it.
And in Virginia before that, and they had some veterans.
They had some veterans. So that's been the key. Yes, the one and dones are flashy, but they just don't. They aren't able to sustain it because of whatever lack of experience, discipline, whatever you want to call it, moxie. They just can't get to that Final Four level.
That was still a fraud to me. Virginia winning that title. They did not deserve to win the national championship.
Yeah, they beat somebody 38-37.
They had the luckiest stretch of like their last 3 or 4 games of the tournament.
Yep.
Oh, I hope Lavelle Hall and Brian Hanks.
Ooh, Brian Hanks is steaming somewhere.
But hey,
not smiling.
I'll say this though: you can tell me I'm the luckiest, whatever. If I got the championship, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
There
I got
is
it.
No, I wouldn't either.
I got it. Yeah, that's right. I got it.
And Duke's had some luck.
Sure, they have.
You have to have more luck in the NCAA tournament than you do.
Well, Duke's last 2 titles, Kentucky was the best team in the country, and they got upset the round before Duke would have had to play them.
That's right.
Both times.
You have to have luck in that tournament. I mean, ask NC State, ask Villanova, all these teams. Hardly ever.
And one year Duke beat West Virginia and Butler in the Final Four.
How often does the overall
opponents.
1 seed win the NCAA tournament? 1 out of every 10 years, maybe. You don't. You got to have the luck. The luck on your side.
And we got to go back to 1992. The shot heard round the world.
Leitner.
Yeah.
Now, I think they were the best team that year,
I think they
but
were.
they also had to be lucky.
They could have easily lost that game.
Lucky.
Yeah, they were the best team, as it proved. You're right.
They had to be lucky, and 4 Final Fours in a row for Mr. Leitner with 2 national titles. That I don't know if that'll ever be duplicated.
It can be very difficult
4
in today's
Final Fours
environment.
in a row and 2 national titles, because nowadays if you win it, bye. So what individual can do that? Because if you win a national title, you're 99% out the door, right?
Absolutely.
Lenny says that the West Lincoln girls did not play last night. East Burke dealing with some COVID up there. Mike Powell, you saw East Lincoln last night almost blow a big lead last night and lose, but they did hang on to win for first place over North Iredell.
Because East Lincoln came in 5-0 in the Western Foothills 3A, and North Iredell was tied with Hickory
4-1.
I don't know what Hickory did last night, or even if they played.
Well, I'll tell you in a little bit.
Yeah, but
they won by 40.
They won by 40. Okay.
Well, 39 to be exact over Fred T. Ford, 82-43.
With their new addition.
Well,
new addition. I think.
East Lincoln.
Do we know for sure?
I saw highlights.
Redmond?
Yeah.
From Newton Conover.
Looked like he played well.
Is that right? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, but even Coach John Hancock, East Lincoln's head coach, admitted in the first half, East Lincoln played almost a perfect game. They were flawless. I mean, the passing in the second quarter, There were 6 of 7 from the floor, and 5 of those were three-pointers. They were just lighting it up. They had 7 three-pointers in the first half, took a 39-18 lead into the break, and I think everybody in the arena thought the game was over. And even at the end of the third quarter, the score was 57-42. But then in the fourth quarter, North Iredale outscored East 26-11. East had one field goal in the quarter. They just kind of wilted. North Iredale went to a desperation press. East had some problems. A big thing for East was foul trouble. Drew Bean, who is their leading scorer, picked up his 4th, and he got his 5th on a technical that was kind of controversial. And he's not even on the floor for the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. They just had a lot of problems with the press. North Iredale made some shots, and all of a sudden, they got it down to single digits with like 2:20 to go, and then after that, it was just a matter of East Lincoln just trying to hold on. It got as close as, let's see, 66-64 on a three-pointer.
Yeah.
With 20 seconds to go, but East was able to hit just a couple foul shots to close it out. 68-66.
We're going to get Mike to where he is aimed at the microphone when he is reading. Because
I should have put it right.
We faded you
there.
there.
Yeah.
Faded on us a little bit there, but you're right.
Let's see.
Still East Lincoln, though, they find a way.
Yep.
Find a way.
Yeah, 4 players in double figures.
They're now, what, 14-2?
14-2.
Yeah.
6-0 in the conference.
Lost 2 games in their holiday tournament, which
against good competition.
Cox Mill and who was the other one?
No, it was Lake Norman. And
it wasn't Cox. Cox Mill won the tournament.
South Lake and Lake Norman.
Yeah.
Right.
South Lake and Lake Norman High, not Lake Norman.
Right.
Lake Norman High, yes.
Yeah, my take on the East, I hadn't seen the first time I've seen them play. It's just a typical Hancock team. And they've been that way for years, really. Play good defense, fundamentally sound, pass the basketball, usually have a couple good shooters. One thing they don't seem to have is much height. I mean, one of their starters wasn't there, but they're not a big team. I mean, they're just sort of like interchangeable parts, but good ball club.
And North Iredale is decent size, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard one player from East say that North Iredale will be bigger than them at every position.
Almost every
and
position.
And bigger off the bench, too.
Yeah, so. Bigger off the bench. Had a couple guys in 6'3", 6'4" range on the wing. Yeah, but turned out to be a really exciting finish, certainly.
Should be a good one when they play back in.
Yeah.
Is that in Olin?
Olin, North Carolina.
How about that? Back in Olin.
And I was asking Hancock after the game. There was a little smack talk on some of the online. With some of
no way.
Yeah.
Smack talk in high school these days. You got to be kidding.
Well, what are the leading posts now or websites for smack talk in
I have
high school?
Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be my guess.
But yeah, I think they've been going on a little bit. That could be a rivalry in basketball, at least. There might be something to watch for the next couple of years.
I was trying to see if I could find any other local scores. We know Maiden and Lincoln did not play last night in boys basketball. East Burke, West Lincoln. Now, I know Lenny said the girls didn't play. I'm not sure about the boys, but there's no score reported here on Max Prep, so I'm guessing that maybe that one did not get played either.
Right.
East Rutherford rolled over Polk County 95-64. Excuse me, last night. Let's see. Lincoln Charter beat Mountain Island Charter 83-62. Anything else in our area? Wilkes Central beat East Wilkes 51-38. Here's a team I heard that you better keep an eye on come playoff time down the road, Inca. That they're really good. Inca beat Murphy last night 88-73. Brett, did you ever figure out is Inca 3A or 2A?
3A.
3A?
Yeah.
Also last night, Newton Conover defeated Bunker Hill 60-44 in CVAC action last night. That might just be Newton's second win, if I'm not mistaken. Nothing here on Drone and Mountain Heritage. Mallard Creek falls to Chambers 75-50. Wallace Rosehill beats East Duplin in the eastern part of the state 62-48. Kramer, are they still undefeated?
No, they lost a game.
Lost a game.
I think Kings Mountain beat them.
They played maybe Kings Mountain and Crest was coming up soon too. But anyway, they played North Gaston last night. Kramer wins 74-49. Got a pretty good team themselves. South Central beat Havelock. Listen to this, 56-23. Havelock scored only 23 points last night on the basketball court. East Rowan 85-64 over South. I don't think there's anything else here.
Kings Mountain beat Kramer on Tuesday, 88-82.
Good game. Good game. Two more to give you, then we're going to give our NFL picks. Two more. AC Reynolds beat TC Roberson 47-40. And the Mountaineers that Brett's talking about, Kings Mountain last night, beat Ashbrook 81-50.
Let me give one more, guys. I don't want to leave out the girls' team. East Lincoln girls won 59-46. Are they not also
very good? First place.
Undefeated in the conference, now at 6-0.
So
they are. Both teams at East lead the way.
Yep. All right, here we go. Starting today at 4:30 on NBC. Got that? Who is the NBC crew? That'd be Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, right? As long as Al's been out a lot here lately. I've seen Tirico in his shoes a lot on Sunday night.
Yeah, well, I think that's in his contract that
he. Don't they have 2 games?
NBC. Yes, they also have tomorrow night.
So I bet today will be a different.
Yeah,
you think that same crew won't do both games?
No, you're right.
I bet Tirico does today.
Yeah.
Michaels.
Who will be his partner? Because Collinsworth worked with both during the regular season.
That's a good question.
Who will be the John Gruden? No, I'm just kidding. Here's what, just real quick before we do our picks, Lenny said, you have to be lucky. When Carolina won the national championship in 82, they defeated James Madison 52-50 in the first round.
That's right.
Of the old Charlotte Coliseum.
Right.
So they barely won 82. And they also had, don't forget Fred Brown. Speaking of
throws the ball to James Worthy.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it's
instead of getting a shot, they threw the ball to Worthy.
Drew Brees. He does Notre Dame games with Tirico now.
Yeah, that's who it'll be. That'd be good. I like Drew.
Yeah.
Brees. Now he's learning. He's not polished at what he's doing, but he's got a lot of knowledge. So, you know what I mean.
That's right.
All right, who you taking? Vegas at Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. Says the Raiders.
I'm going Raiders. They just seem to be a team of destiny. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but the way they're playing now behind that interim coach has done a great job.
Can you remember everybody's picks, Brett?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Joe Burrow's had a fantastic year, and the Bengals are really good offensively, but just something about the Raiders.
You want to go next?
Bengals.
Bengals here too. But I'm going to tell you why. I'm going with the home team. They're playing outdoors. It might be bitter cold in Cincinnati.
True,
Vegas, the Raiders coming in, after playing indoors. And that's not always the biggest factor, but I think this should be an offensive game where both offenses are highlighted, and I just think that Cincinnati's is just a little bit better offensively than the Raiders, and I will Josh Jacobs is good, but you can't name me. Here's one thing you can't do. You can't name me the Raiders wide receivers. You can name me their tight end, Darren Waller, who's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can name me the Raiders wide receivers. And Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, who's going to be Rookie of the Year most likely.
Well, Hunter Renfrow is one of the top receivers, but not a lot of big names.
No.
Lenny said the East Burke and the West Lincoln boys were scheduled to play, but he don't know if it happened or not. So since the girls' team did not go. So we got 2 Bengals, 1 Raiders. We'll see, Mike. You might be the lone winner next week in that one. New England at Buffalo. Another really tough one to pick, I think.
Well, the last time they played, they played twice. So
New England both teams won on the road.
Yeah. New England won in that incredibly windy game. I might have to go with Buffalo.
Yeah, I think I'm on Buffalo here too. So that's 3 guys against Belichick. There's something wrong with us.
Yeah.
Better check our mental state this morning. Three people went against Belichick in the playoffs.
It's just, I'm going more against Mac Jones than I am. Josh Allen's got experience in these playoff games, and he's just a much better player than Mac Jones at this point.
As good as these quarterbacks are, these young quarterbacks, Allen fits right. He's right in there too. I mean, he's he's going to be a top 3 quarterback. He's probably top 5 right now,
yeah,
right?
They've got their quarterback for the next 10 years.
Yes, and you know what? One thing to me that kind of goes unnoticed is he can make it happen with his legs. He's not just a thrower. He can get you 15 yards on a 3rd and 10. You know, he's got the wheels to get it done. Rodney's probably going to cuss me here. Rodney says Deshaun Jackson, Hunter Renfrow, Brian Edwards, and Zay Jones. Like I said, Hunter Renfrow. You can name one. Deshaun Jackson maybe over the hill. The other 2 are. I know them. I watch a lot of games.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the average fan is not going to be able to name you the Raider wide receivers.
So that game, it will be Tirico and Breeze.
For today's game.
Yeah. And then tonight, Ian Eagle and Charles Davis will do.
As Dan Patrick calls him, Ian Eagle or Ian Eagle. I like it. Had him on the other day. It's great. He's very good, by the way. Very good at what he does. And he does a lot. You should hear his portfolio. I mean, man, he does a lot of different stuff. In the sports world. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Do we even need to pick that one? Anybody picking the Eagles?
No.
Upset? Could the Eagles pull it off? Tampa's banged up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're banged up on both sides of the ball.
I mean,
if the Eagles run for 150 yards, can they win?
I think they have a shot, a puncher's
I would
chance.
too. I think if they can run for 150 yards, they have a shot. But they can't get down. They don't have a come from behind team. They can't get behind in that.
Yeah, they've taken on the identity of Jalen Hurts, who it's like you say that multiple threat, can run the football kind of quarterback.
150 yards on the ground. I think they have a really good chance.
Me,
with all that said, I'm going Tampa.
It wouldn't be the biggest upset to me.
Okay, we'll get to that one in a minute.
But
I know
I'm picking Tampa.
The biggest upset would be in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we all pick Tampa. San Francisco, Dallas.
Ooh.
I'll go first. I'm taking Dallas just because they're at home. I think this will be the most watched game of the whole weekend. Too really good. Did you see the San Francisco fans in L.A. last week?
Yeah.
It looked like a San Francisco home game. Yeah. There'll be some fans. There'll be a lot of 49er fans there. But Dallas just plays better in their building. And I think they have a lot to prove. I'll take them in a close game. Take the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys too. And as you said, they seem to play much better in Jerry's world. Not that great away from there, but yeah. Although I think San Francisco could definitely win the game, and it certainly wouldn't be a shocker, given their physical style of play.
I know we're going to run over a minute or two, but that's okay. We went on real late this morning. But
let's give them 15 more minutes. No.
Well, we can't. We have some people meeting us for breakfast.
I'll take San Francisco.
Wow. So 2 Dallas, 1 San Francisco. Pittsburgh and Kansas City. Brett thinks this would be the biggest upset, and I pretty much do too, because I just don't think Pittsburgh can score enough points to stay with Kansas City, especially playing at Kansas City.
If I hear the phrase Pittsburgh is playing with house money one more time, I'm going to scream. No, I don't. Not even a puncher's chance here. It will be. It's bittersweet. It will be Big Ben's last hurrah. He's been a great player.
All right, Mike. If you don't like that, then I'll give you this. Pittsburgh can stay in it for a while, but at the end of the day,
another one.
It's going to be KC.
Wait, did you not just use the puncher's chance?
That's right. I'm guilty of my own cliches. Oh. Thank you, Brad. I did say puncher's chance.
We are a sweep with
promise not to use that again.
Patrick Mahomes, who is still one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch play. And Andy Reid is one of my favorite coaches of all time.
He's my favorite coach.
All class and deserves multiple Super Bowls. I'm glad he's got one, and it wouldn't bother me at all if he wins some more.
No.
But I'll take the Chiefs as well. And then the final game of the weekend, Arizona at the Rams. 2 teams that are both kind of struggled.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rams played better down the stretch than the Cardinals did, but neither one of them just blew you away, you know?
Yeah. The Rams haven't played well in the last several weeks. And, of course, Cardinals have had injury problems. Kyler Murray's been banged up. But just on the strength of talent, I'm going to have to go with the Rams.
I'm going Rams.
Yeah, to me, this is the toughest one to pick. I don't think there's really a home field advantage for the Rams.
Not yet. They haven't built it yet in that building. And Arizona plays good on the road. They play better on the road.
I think the Rams have maybe the best roster
in football,
in all of football. Mm-hmm. But I'm going with the better quarterback and Kyler Murray.
So what's wrong with
I'm
the
going
Rams?
with the Cardinals.
Is it so you don't have the faith in Stafford to be the better quarterback? You're saying Murray's a better quarterback than Stafford?
Yeah.
You really think that at this point? Wow.
If it's close, then one of them needs to make a play. I trust.
Well, I know who's going to make it with
Murray
their feet
more.
Yeah, Murray.
I know who's
going
to make it with their feet if they got to make the play with their feet. I could see. Okay, we all went. Let's just say this, we all three picked. You picked the Cards, but me and Mike. But every game we picked, at least two of us picked the home team to win. We did not pick a visitor. That's not going to happen.
No,
that's not going to happen. There's going to be some visitors that win. Maybe multiple.
My two are both the NFC West teams, 49ers and Cardinals.
Is it all or nothing for the Rams?
You also picked the NFC West to lose in the Rams.
Well, yeah, had to pick one.
Say it again.
No, is it all or nothing for the Rams with what they've assembled just for this year?
I don't think so. I don't expect them to win the Super Bowl. They could, but I don't expect them to. Which brings us to our final pick.
They still have Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp. You know, all those guys will still be there next year. I don't know about. I guess Stafford's there for more than just this year. He's going to be there for a few years. Yeah, Von Miller I don't know about. I don't know what. They did bring in some guys. Odell Beckham, I don't know what his future is.
That's right, Beckham.
But they should get Robert Woods back. So, no, I don't really see it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be all right. They'll be all right in the future. They'll keep who they want to keep.
And Sean McVay's not going anywhere.
No.
And not until he wants to go somewhere,
I was going to ask you.
With all
that, if you think they got the best roster, you just think it's quarterback that's holding them back, even though they've traded for Stafford.
I just don't trust.
The coach is a good coach. I mean, he's one of the best.
I just don't trust Stafford in a big game.
Mm-hmm. Well, he hasn't done it in a big game. Well, nothing on this stage.
And I like Stafford.
All right, here we go.
But I think he's more likely to make the big mistake.
We got to go. We got people waiting on us to eat breakfast. We got to go. Super Bowl pick right now.
Green Bay Packers.
Against?
KC. KC and the Sunshine Band.
KC and the Mahomes man.
Yeah. I just think they played very well. I mean, they've been consistent all year except for the first game.
Packers, Bills. I'll take Green Bay.
All I know is at the beginning of the year I picked the Titans, and they got blown out week 1. And now they're number 1 seed. Yeah. And they're getting their man back.
And I didn't remember the Titans.
And I'm going with the Titans.
Okay.
To be in that Super Bowl. But who did I pick on the other side at the beginning of the year? Was it Dallas?
I don't know. I picked the Rams and Chiefs, and I've still got a shot.
You
but
do.
Now I'm changing my mind.
But I'm thinking that I was thinking that I picked Dallas and the Titans at the beginning of the year. I got no reason not to stick with it at this point. I'll just go that way. Green Bay is going to be hard to beat. Green Bay has got everything going for it. They got the best quarterback in the NFL. They're playing at home. It's going to be hard to beat them there. Right. But they haven't been dominant in the playoffs over the last 10 years at home like they used to be. But
and we're beaten last year by the Bucs.
Yep. In Tampa though, right?
No,
in Green Bay.
Yeah. See there? They just have not been
frozen tundra.
I'll just leave mine like it is. The Tennessee Titans and the Dallas Cowboys. One last comment before we go. Lenny said he thinks the East Lincoln girls are the best team that they've played, and he says that after they've played Newton Conover as well. So he thinks East Lincoln is the best. You know, it looks like they got the best boys and girls team in the area, in our immediate area. So
very well could be.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for being a little patient this morning. For Brett, Mike, I'm David. See you next week.